Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the Seaman. Now I want to welcome you to a very special edition of Seaman's Cinema Sit-Down. That's right, folks, I am chilling in my car, and that can only mean one thing. Now, I've only done one, but I mean, if you've seen it, you know what we're doing. It's live reaction time, folks. It is Thursday, well, now technically Friday, June 22nd, and that means big opening. So there's only one movie I'm talking about. Pull up a chair, take a seat. We are getting into my live reaction for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Man, what an interesting ride this movie is. There's not I'm torn in so many different ways with this one, man. Like, the story is really interesting and compelling at times. But there's also just a lot of humongous set pieces. Not a ton of character development. And, obviously we start with the island and that destruction. And although visually stunning, kind of lags on a little long. It takes a little while for the movie to kind of get going. And I was just kind of like, all right, yeah, we're getting better after this. I can ride with it. We get onto the boat. It's pretty kind of like a 3-act, real traditional kind of movie. In like 3 different set pieces almost. So like the second act, you're in the boat, and it starts to pick up, man. And it started to intrigue me a little bit more. I was starting to get sucked in, but I still wasn't loving the movie. I was there, I was liking it. I love getting to see the dinosaurs. Jay Bayona ended up using practical dinosaur animatronics a ton in this movie, and every time they pop up, they're stunning, and it brings so much more realism back and brings you back to that original Jurassic Park. And that's the other thing too, man. There's a ton of stylistic nostalgia in this movie, even more so than the first Jurassic World, I think. There are just little things everywhere if you're paying attention that are just subtle sometimes not so subtle, but all of them just are I'm telling you, Bayona does a really good job of pulling on your heartstrings too, man, with that nostalgia stuff. There's some really good moments in the movie where you're just like, wow. But like I said, the first 2/3, I was just kind of hanging in there. And with Bayona behind the camera, I was expecting some horror, and the tension and that suspense kind of thriller stuff starts building in that second act. Man, this movie is all about the last act. Oh, man, the last 30, 35 minutes of this movie are brilliant. There are things with movies that kind of help or that hurt suspense movies because they're things we can assume won't happen. And this movie does a really good job of figuring out a way to kind of twist that a little bit. So all of a sudden that suspense comes back. There are times in the first 2 acts where suspense is building, but you're like, this is a cool, very technically sound, and the camera work and everything, suspense scene, but nothing big's gonna happen. They figure out a way to change that a little bit in the 3rd act, and man, it starts working, man. The suspense, the tension, you're on the edge of your seat the last act of this movie, and what they set up for the future, that's what got it for me, man. The last act of this movie, you nailed the ending Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. And that made this movie go boom, go see Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I promise you, even if you're not all the way into it and you're just along for the ride, it pays off on the back end. It's worth the wait. Go check it out. Totally falls in line with what we know from Jurassic World, the World movies and the park movies, but finally a little something different, man. The suspense and the horror concept I really enjoyed, especially in that last act. So there you go, man. That's it. That is my reaction to Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Right here, right off the cuff. Non-spoiler review obviously coming, so be on the lookout for that. Otherwise, man, for the Seaman Cinema Sit-Down, live reaction number 2, put it in the books, baby. I'm the Seaman. I'm signing off. Peace!